has been a couple of days since I started. Yeah, I'm feeling like a rookie again. I feel like I was kind of in a groove, working on stuff, kind of had a little flow going. Killed it. So, time to start over. Hopefully today, my goal is to get a new shifter cable, a new speedometer cable installed, and maybe tackle the oil pressure sensor. We're going to start with this cable though. Starting to pull this apart, there is this pin connector kind of thing here. So, yeah, I think I'm actually going to work on pulling this out entirely and then just give it a once over since I'm going to have it. So I've got that out. Doesn't look the greatest. Again, there's not enough light in here. Sorry. But I just made marks on the wire there too, and then a single on the other one. And then I know where that round thing goes. So that's it. Whole gauge is out. I'll have to just get behind there and see if I can clean up some of that dust or whatever that's behind the glass there. Alright, well, looks like I actually screwed up the amp meter gauge. So while I was taking this out, this bolt that was holding the wire on here, I was backing it off and it was rusted. That actually in turn twisted and I bent the base or the amp meter gauge, like a nice L shape to it. And you can see the other side is all tweaked. So now the gauge sits all wonky. So screwed that up. Maybe just try and bend that back at least so we can close it up, and then we'll put it on the list of things to replace. All right, so now I'm working on removing the speedo cable. That's right here. So it just comes out through the firewall back here, through this grommet, and then just runs down in the middle of nowhere. No, actually runs down to the transfer case. So we're gonna get underneath there and see if we can dig it out. Not much to see underneath here right now. All right. Cool. So we're gonna jump back in, working on the 40 by trying to do this carb rebuild. Carb. Yeah. I just spent the last couple days with the Moto Carney down in Austin, and yeah, not thinking all that well. So we're going to start by rebuilding the fuel pump. So this is the mechanical fuel pump that came off of it, and I got a rebuild kit from the Cruiser Colt, and we're going to see if we can get this back together, take it apart and fix it. It's funny how you spend a couple days away from a project and it's like someone came in and rearranged the garage because they can't find anything. I know no one did that. It's just me being away from something for a few days. Maybe this top one has to come out too. I actually have a video on this, but okay. It smells like old gasoline. Wow, this is really brittle. Not that brittle. Yeah, there's another one of those in there. Cool. Here's the inside. Pretty gunky. I don't know. Well, let's just keep taking it apart. So I'll make sure. So this came out of the top part. This came out of the bottom part. So it looks like they're all the same length. But I'm just gonna make a little pile right there, and then a second pile for these, just in case they're different. It's gonna be more of a bear. I don't know where to end. I figure if I can loosen all the screws, then I know I can definitely get it apart. The lighting ends up being all right. So I got up this morning at 5, went to the gym, went to body pump class. Then I came home, then I went back to bed. I just woke up a couple hours later. I was so tired. Make sure I got all the... Wants to work. Wow. That's like really crusty in there. Ooh, I don't know if this is the right tool for the job, but... All right, that worked. Okay, there we go. So there's the underside. And here's our spring valve. Whoop. There we go. I see. So this gets pressed down, and then you turn it, and it sits underneath those. Will this piece come out? Yeah, looks like those press in there, but I do have to replace that spring that was here. So I'll do that too. Alright, looks like there's just a little bit of some stuff here, but that I can't clean up. Alright, here's the old one. Alright, let's put all these aside and we'll figure out what to do here. I think what we're gonna do is just use the Dremel. Just trying to clean off. Okay, just want to clean that. Much nicer. Oh, it does come with more of those. Cool. I may have to watch that video. So I'll pop them out and then cleaning in there. Where is my phone? All right. Whatever you do. Started getting those when I started this project.
Cheers to Saturday. Chase here from the Cruise
Hey,
Ball.
Chase.
Happy New Year.
All right.
We thought we'd start off the year with the bang.
I'm gonna pop this off. So it looks like there's a way to actually take this out, because they send you a new one in the kit, which is here. Guess I'm gonna have to watch and find out. The main goal here is just to get it to work. And there's a inline fuel filter, so maybe don't sweat the small stuff. So these are non-replaceable for me. I'm not able to get mine out. They're all stamped and punched in there. I'm hoping they're replacing this part, but this looks different. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the original arm in there. This I do need to put in there and replace. Just want to put some safety glasses on before I start playing with springs. I think I should probably just push this down in there. It's going to work either. Well, let's just see what Chase has to say.
Towards the engine. And so what we need to do is, and then we're gonna turn it so then it frees itself, and then we're gonna turn it again to get it out of the pump body.
So I was able to get this spring in, and the way I did it was I put the spring in on this side first, and then I used a pair of needle nose pliers, and I grabbed the spring and along the sides like this, and I compressed it, and I used the leverage off the side of the fuel pump to compress the spring out, and then I was able to finagle it and get it over top of the little button, the little raised bump in there to line these up. So now this looks like it's working. That means now I'm ready for this to go back in. Okay, so that's where I'm at here. So I'm gonna go this way to orient. And then in theory, I should be able to press down and then turn to 90, and it should grab. Not quite. It goes on. Alright. Oh yeah, so maybe here this might work a little bit better too. You can also look at, you can see there's the flat-sided part down here. Line it up with the back of the casting. There we go. And then rotate it so it's 90 degrees off. So there's my 90 line, and then if I flip it, it's 90 degrees to this. Cool. Now this goes, yep. Right on. This, so that these are aligned. Now I did not make note of what direction, but there's arrows on here for the direction of fuel flow. So it's going to go in the side of the engine like this, and inlet, out, up and over to the carb. So this is how we're going to orient it. As soon as I start to bite on the other side, I'm stopping. I'm not really putting a lot of down pressure, just turning the screw heads so that they find their way. Cool, so let's go around here and slowly, I'm just going to close the gap between the screw head and the top all the way around. Then we'll go back, and so at this point now we can start pulling stuff down. Does not look like there's a top or bottom. Probably should have started with the center one. It would have made more sense. But I haven't really thought about what the end goal is with this car. I mean, I know I want to drive it, but I don't really know if I've really thought about, like, this is like a, well, I've already kind of decided it's not a restoration. That it's not, because I want to drive it. I feel like that's really my main goal, is just to make it safe for the road right now. And also, like, maybe reinstate some of the original just factory setup. I'm also a little weirded out by the fact that there's no, I guess I could put one in, but there's no electronic shutoff for the fuel pump, which is probably fine, but if there's ever an issue, I just want to know that it's off. I also kind of want to reduce the complexity of the vehicle and just take it back down to a simpler time and get rid of some extra wires. And I just felt like doing this was the right way to go. I'm just using a little steel wool to clean this up a little. The only downside is there's a ton of little wool dust that always goes everywhere. But overall, I'd say I'm pretty happy with that. These pulled out. There's the new setup. I'll get these started. So pop that off and show you where that's in there. I also reinstalled the valve cover this morning. Not super confident on the cork gasket that's here. I didn't use any extra sealant, but there was a ton when I took it off, and just kind of like poking around the outside, I doubt it's going to seal properly. But I'm just going to try it and see how it works for the start. Or maybe I'll come back to it, but not really sure. So my next goal, actually, this is the electronic fuel pump. Then the next thing I want to do here is just update this line and rerun it over to the carb, and then run it through the original fuel pump. Before I jump into this part, I was able to run the new line here for the speedometer. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get in, out though, and in. I ended up loosening these bolts down here. I ended up loosening these two bolts to drop the steering column down so that I could get this in, because every time I pushed it in, the speedo cable was pushing up against something on the firewall, and I think I actually already ripped the housing on here, so not super excited about that. But yeah, then I just finished running it down. I just need to tidy these cables up a little bit here. It actually looks like maybe those should go there. Oil pressure sensor switch removed. And this is the old one. This is the new one, using a code from Advanced or something like that. Bought it on sale, so it's like 40 bucks. And the OEM one I think is 100 something, so we'll see if it works. Alrighty, here we go. Side 2, driver's side. Let's see what we can get going here. Very old dead worm. Yeah, buddy. You gotta get them all out. That'll do it. There we go. So that looks tight, but gotta take that. Puppy! What's happening, little puppy?
Just thinking to myself, this battery's probably gonna die soon. Almost cooked that this time. There we go. There we go. There she is. Just use that to scrape right to the garbage. To the garbage. So much garbage. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. Look at that. Nice. Yeah. That. Oh yeah. Fudge sundae, look at that fudge. Yeah, good fudge. Two. All of these ready. Alright, so this is gonna go on first. Outer ring. That. Rest in. I like that better. Air leaving, grease entering. Boom. No, I don't think we've been recording at all. Let's just too bad. Let's see what's going on with this. Piece works with this kit. Yay. There's the base. Bolts here. Oh, I think this is the one that had one odd side bolt. That pin. Yeah, that's right. This is the one that had one bolt that was bigger than the rest. What the heck?